I'm not going to sit here and pocket watch you and ask you
Sure.
how much you make a month, right? But out of your whole career, YouTube, right? What was your biggest month, money-wise?
Ooh, that's a good question. I want to say the most money that I've ever made in a month off YouTube was probably like 80 to 90 grand.
And that's just off of AdSense.
Yeah, that was just AdSense. And that probably would have been like, I don't know, maybe like 3 or 4 years ago. It might have actually been when I got the compound, because those videos were like all popping. It was brand new. It was exciting. It was long form content. But it's weird. I've had such slow and steady growth for such a long time that I like rarely would have those massive like peaks and valleys, which is kind of been a strong point for me.
Yeah.
But also like, it's interesting because, you know, the YouTube world is actually like, it's way more profitable if you are maybe at the 50 grand mark, which is still a crazy amount of money.
Yeah.
With way less overhead, right? Like, cause it's one of those things where like, it's not necessarily you throw more people, throw more cars, throw more things at it, you're making more money. You're probably going to make more money if you can have one car, you're the only one that works on it, you only have a house, you don't have a shop.
Yeah.
And then all that money is just being put in your bank rather than spending it.
So around that like 50,000 is where you feel.
I wouldn't
like
even say that. I would just say it's like, you know, there's a really good chance that there are people out there that have 100,000 subscribers that are making way more than people with 1 million subscribers.
Really?
Yeah.
In the automotive space or just in general?
I think in general. Because the thing is, once you get to that level, now you're hiring people, you've got new costs, you've got new headaches, you've got buildings, you've got overhead. The swings hit you much harder, where when you're running lean, like you can kind of just be a machine. I mean, I definitely profited way more at the end of the year when my operations was smaller.
Never actually thought about it that way. So I'm like thinking about it like, damn, that's actually true.
But it's what's your end goal, right? Like my end goal of what I do isn't to have a bunch of money in the bank at the end of the year. It's to chase building these cars. It's to go compete professionally across the world. So like if I can do that and I can support that, I would rather be able to do that and look back at the end of the year, look at all the cool shit that I did instead of like, oh, look, I've got this in the bank.
Now, are you treating pretty much every year like it's your first year in business, you know, when you're reinvesting into your business? Are you still kind of doing that now? Like even at the level you're at?
Can you elaborate?
Like normally, like for example, myself, right? I'm self-funded. I don't have sponsors, but everything I make, I'm putting back into traveling and going to speak to people, car shows. I'm not really seeing much of, I'm not able to kind of be at the level where I'm like throwing 50K into the bank. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So at this level right now that you're at, you have a lot of overhead, but are you taking most of it and throwing it into back into the business, or are you kind of like enjoying your money a little bit?
It's tough, right? Because like putting money into my business is enjoying it for me. That's the beauty of what I've created is that like being able to go race with my team, that's also my friends, being able to build all these cars is what I would be doing if it wasn't the business. Like it's what I love. So like in one sense, you could look at it as like, oh, he's enjoying his money, or you could look at it like, oh, he's just investing back in himself. Because in the end of the day, like that's kind of what the platform's all about. It's investing in yourself and being able to share that journey with everyone and bring them along for the ride. So, you know, would it probably be smarter for me to buy real estate than to be buying shitbox JDM cars that are inevitably going to get double their price put back into it? Oh yeah, absolutely. But that's not my MO.
Yeah, that's the coolest thing, and that's what I think everybody aspires to be, is something like, you know, somebody like yourself, where your business is what you love to do, but it's just so hard to get there, and especially at this level, when you walk in here, it's like I can't even imagine ever having anything like this. So it's definitely motivating to see what you've achieved, and honestly, it's almost like it feels impossible to be here. Like, do you think that if times were different, that you'd have this place, or?
Times were different in terms
of
in
terms of COVID and the prices and everything and purchasing property.
I don't know. I mean, I never would have thought a day in my life that I could ever afford something like this. Even with YouTube at its prime, like this property would cost you $20 million to build if you built it. Never in my life would I fathom having that kind of money to also be able to just pour into something as ridiculous as a compound.
Yeah.
You know, like most people that have that kind of money, they do something smart with it. This would be incredibly not smart. Like, I guess it's smart, like, you know, look at it, like we leverage it well, but like a lot of this stuff, like the amount of concrete here, man, I would never do that, but I'm so glad I have it.